Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry this one's late. It's almost like, what, February now? It actually is February 1st before I'm finally doing this. My top 5 games of 2022. I just have like Destiny stuff playing in the background for right now, just for whatever. Just so I could have something to talk over right now. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with number 5 and work my way up to 1. Typically, how other people go, and then at the end of it, I'll throw in some like honorary mentions that I did think were very good, and then we'll see what else. Mostly honorary mentions, but yeah, I'm just trying to first time doing this actually. When I'm doing a top 5 or anything like that, so bear with me if it seems a little weird. But yeah, let's get right into it with number 5. All right, so number 5 is Crisis Core, and a lot of people might be a little bit surprised by that since this is technically just a remaster of the PSP game. It's not like a full-on remake or anything like that, even though some people might call it that. But for the most part, it really is the same game. It's just the graphics were upscaled, and then like they redid all the voice lines, with the newer actors and stuff. And actually, the whole game's fully voiced, which is pretty awesome. But I did play this game on the PSP like way back in the day, and yeah, it was pretty much a slog. That it was pretty much a slog way back in that time. So and it was hard to get through. The only reason why I think people played it was just simply because, like, if you played Final Fantasy VII, which it's like my favorite game of all time, then you mostly played it so you can see what happens with Zack and all that stuff. And like the first half of the story is, it's whatever, but it's like the second half. The second half is when it gets better, when it starts getting like all the, the more serious tones to it and stuff. But this game But this game definitely did improve upon the PSP. See, they did a whole bunch of changes to the combat system. The DMW doesn't overwhelm the entire thing. It's actually kind of optional if you want to activate it or not. Because like what they did with it was like before when the DMW activated, it would just on the PSP version, it would basically just do its thing automatically. Whereas now it gave you like a little thing that you can activate on your own whenever you want to use it. You don't even have to use it, and you could skip the scenes in it and stuff. They made the combat much more enjoyable too. Like fighting with Zack was so much more better. Like you actually wanted to fight enemies instead of skipping everything. Yeah, the only reason why I'm not fighting enemies is because I was doing like grinding in this gameplay bit. But anyways, but yeah, like they made using and like Zack felt more fluid. The controls were definitely more fluid. The voice acting was much better. Even though some people complained about Zack's voice, but I had no problem with it at all. Um, but yeah, they like fully voicing the entire game was incredible. Honestly, like they didn't even have to do that, but they did. They kind of did a lot for this port. I guess port slash remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like it's a remake, but also not a remake because it's still the same exact story. They didn't really fix the script or anything like that, which a lot of people complain. A lot of people didn't really care for the script way back then. But overall, like I actually really enjoyed playing this again, and I'm definitely gonna platinum it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. A lot of stuff, a lot of games came out. It was tough keeping up with all of them, but eventually I will get this game platinumed. And it was really nice to actually play this game and enjoy all like most of the facets of it. Even though like the dialogue was reminiscent of the old like early 2000 period. So, but or was this like the 2010s? Not. I think it was like early 2000s if I remember right. But yeah, all in all, this was my top 5 favorite game of 20 or well, number 5. I wouldn't say this. It was number 5 on my list, which might surprise some people once they find out one of these games didn't make it. So, um, interesting when that happens. But anyways, yeah, we'll move on to number 4. All right, so number 4 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Now, the reason why this is number 4 is because I used to play a lot of the Ninja Turtle beat 'em up games way back in the day, especially Turtles in Time. Like me and my brothers, we played it all the time. And this game coming out was literally like a remnant, like complete, like blast from the past, like a modern day old school game. As you can see with the gameplay, it has like like the 8-bit whatever type look to it and stuff, and it feels just like the Turtles in Time game pretty much, and it's got like 8-player co-op in there. A shame I couldn't get like I couldn't find any lobbies of anybody playing, otherwise I would have done this in multiplayer instead of solo. And I'm getting my butt kicked because I was basically just playing the game to get the footage, to to put in the video. And then so I'm also like trying to remember how to play the game because this game came out in like the summer, I believe. Like it was like the summer of 2022. It was like May or June or something like that. And I played this game pretty much the entire month of June. Like I loved it. It was so good. The replay value was really good. Like the sound was great. And the controls felt good, very responsive and stuff, and it was just a very fun game overall. Like there's not really much I can say about it. It's just that I just had a blast playing it, and yeah, it was just loads of fun to play. And it felt like and then like all the turtles and stuff, or all the characters had like their own unique moves and stuff, like their own special moves. But like the thing of it, like this, you can sit there and taunt, do the thing, the little meta or whatever. You just taunt, and you get your super meter up, and you can just like spam your supers almost the entire time. But and the bosses were really good, and then everything like the fights, the boss fights were really good. The stages were fun. There was like a lot of replay value to it. I still haven't leveled up all the characters either, but yeah, for the most part, I really enjoyed my time with this game. So yeah, it makes my number 4 on the list. So we will move on to number 3. Oh, and I also did kind of somewhat of a review for this game too, so it's on the channel. So check it out if you want to. All right. And number 3, sorry, is Stray. Ah, I gave it away. I was hoping to say it before the thing popped up. But anyways, this one probably doesn't come as much of a surprise to many people who actually played this game, because this game was like fantastic. Very short, but fantastic. It was perfect. It was like the perfect length for the kind of game that it was. And this game was, I guess a puzzle platformer, just a all-around feel-good type game where you play as a cat who gets, separated from the pack. Oh, I'm sorry to be showing this clip for any cat lovers. I'm a cat lover myself, so this is like upsetting to see, but yeah, as you can see, you play as a cat, and it's just like this really good feel-good story and stuff, and then like everything's told by like the environment and basically all of the NPC characters that you're gonna run into and stuff, and it's just a very charming game, to be honest. Like, there's no combat in it or anything like that. There may be like one section of it where you actually can fight. Well, you actually don't even fight. No, you just where you can kill things, I guess. But it's like this dystopian future type game where this walled off city is like quarantined or something like that, and I believe it was quarantine. It was either a quarantine, yeah, it was like a quarantine, because these little guys that you just saw running by are basically they're just giant sacks of empty stomachs. They just eat everything that they see, and that's all they did was just consume, because they were supposed to be garbage. They were supposed to be garbage mites or something like that. Something that was supposed to eat all the garbage, but they ended up growing sentient and stuff and started attacking all all the AIs and stuff that were around, because pretty much humans don't exist. They all live in AIs now, I guess. Like they're all AIs living in robot bodies and stuff. So they still act like humans, but and they call themselves humans. I think they do. No, I don't remember. I know that they talk about them, but anyways, yeah, just a little bit of a rundown of the story, because it's interesting because you're like, your main character doesn't talk; he just meows. So it's like, how does this go? But they totally make it work, and it's amazing. The game is amazing, and it has little puzzles, even though some of them are incredibly easy. But still, it's like just it's 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 more the journey instead of like all that. And the gameplay is really good too. I mean, I like these kinds of games. I played platformers as a kid, growing up. Like Jak and Daxter is like one of the main platformers that I played. And obviously I played Mario and Donkey Kong and shit like that. So but there other platformers. I played tons of them, but anyways, yeah, so this was my jam, but also because I like cats. But I think that's a lot of the reasons why people may have liked this game is because it's a cat. It's a game about a cat. But it was unique. It was different from, most games that you get. So, like, but I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. It even made me sad on some parts, like in a game invokes emotion out of the player. I think it's done well. Your story's done well, and it always tells you that you don't need these big, gigantic, bloated games, that take like 100+ hours to beat. Not every game has to be like 100+ hours and stuff and be like this always online, or this a game where it's live service and stuff like that. You can have these little single player stories and these little short tales. And I know some people will complain, they're like, well, it's like less than 4 hours. I think it was like, I beat it in like less than like 3 or 4 hours or something like that. So it's definitely not a very long game. But it's also not like a premium price game where it's $70, $60 to $70. It was only like, what was it, 30, 40? I think it was $30. So I think that's worth the price. And since it's a PlayStation game, it's, if you have the service, you basically can just download the game and play it yourself. So you don't even have to buy the game. So yeah, because this is a PlayStation exclusive game, so it's kind of a shame. I think it's on PC too, if I'm not mistaken. It might be. Yeah, I don't remember, but don't quote me on that. But anyways, yeah, so that is my number 3 game of 2022, Stray. And now we will move on to the top 2. And number 2 is God of War Ragnarok. I don't think this one may come as a surprise to some people, maybe. Um, yeah, so I guess that pretty much gives away what number 1 is. Maybe. But anyways, like, I did a review. I just finished up just uploading the entire playthrough onto YouTube, so check that out if you're interested. You can also check out the very last one. It also has my review with the end credits. I say a lot about what I think about this game in that. I'll just briefly go over it. For anybody who's played, for like 2018, basically this is just the pickup from that. I think it's like a couple years. It's obviously several years in the future because Atreus is grown up. He's a teenager now. Less of a little child. But yeah, I pretty much have like the gameplay in the background is probably like one of my favorite scenes in the entire game. So um obviously anybody who's probably played this game knows exactly what I'm talking about, but for anybody else, just you can read the subtitles or check out my playthrough. But overall, this game was an improvement over 2018 in a lot of ways. The gameplay, just a lot of it. The storytelling was great. The acting was also top notch, but it was good in 2018 too. And it was also a very nice conclusion because this game was meant to be 3 parts, but they decided that they wanted to just break it down into 2 because they didn't want people waiting, X amount of years to get the full story of this. So they had to cram a lot of stuff in this. So this game is much longer than 2018. Absolutely. It was like 30 hours just for me to do the main story. And I still haven't even done all the side content yet. You know, all these games coming out at the wrong time. But yeah, just I'll keep this one pretty brief because I said a lot of my thoughts in the review, but just it was just an amazing game. So yeah, this one will be pretty short. Let's get into number one, which I might have quite more to say about that. And as you can see, this one probably comes to no surprise to a lot of people. See that? Look clever that. Ah, I'm actually proud of myself for that. I don't know why. I'm amused by the dumbest things. But anyways, yeah, my top game of 2022 is Elden Ring. As for a lot of people, this game was incredible on so many levels. I believe I did like a little miniature like review of it. I didn't do like a full on one though, but like I played several of the Souls games. I haven't played all of them, like, because I'll be perfectly honest. I only started playing Souls games probably when Bloodborne came out. Bloodborne was probably the reason that got me into it. Because originally, like the Dark Souls games, I wasn't super into them. I'm not gonna even deny that. So I'm not one of those day one Souls players. I'll even admit that. But at the same, I always respected what they did. I just, on one hand, didn't really care for them. I always thought they were really, really chunky and stuff. And then Bloodborne kind of, got me into it because the combat was a little bit more fluid. At least it felt like that to me. But it still had that, that From Software jank to it in the Souls games. But that was like it was like one of the main reasons why I couldn't get into them. But I respected the games, and I absolutely respected the games, like what they did, what they do, for the industry as a whole, and especially what this game's about to do to the industry, to be honest. Because you know, I'm someone who actually got tired of a lot of open world games. They're all over the damn place now. Like, you know, for example, Ubisoft, who can't seem to make a game that isn't open world, and they're all literally the same thing, just giant checklists of shit. And it gets very tedious, very annoying to play because you see there and you see all the icons, and it's like very overwhelming and very obnoxious and stuff. And yeah, none of this is going to be very hard. The gameplay, it's all going to be like very low level enemies and stuff because I'm basically not trying to go in there and get my ass stomped. Especially when I haven't played this game in quite some time. But I did put a lot of hours into it. I think it was like 200 to 300 hours when it came out. Like it didn't matter what was out, what came out, what was there. I stopped playing everything to play Elden Ring. That was what it was. Just Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Elden Ring, Elden Ring. And I'm fairly certain I haven't even seen all the stuff that you can see in this game. I'm pretty sure people will be finding stuff in this game for years to come. But that's what's great about this game. It was like they put you in an open world and they just said, "Good luck and have fun." Basically, find everything by yourself. There's not everything needed to be marked down. Like, you're gonna find all the secrets here. You're not gonna do all that stuff. It was literally generally an open world game where they just said, explore. And there was also a set path to it. There was also a set path. Go fight the bosses like you typically would in any Souls game. You go dungeon crawl. They had some dungeon crawling sections and stuff, but then they had this big open world that you could explore too. And they had like caves and stuff, and there was like so many bosses, but there were a lot of copy and paste bosses. Like a lot of people will say that there was a lot of like repeat bosses and stuff, but there were, I think it was like 90, was it like 90 unique bosses, and there was like 300 bosses in total. So it was like quite a few bosses that were, repeats and stuff, or mix and match of other fights. But this was kind of like any other, I guess you could say this was Dark Souls 4. A lot of people would say like this was Dark Souls 4, because it had the Dark Souls feel to it and stuff, and it even made me like go back and want to like even maybe check out the Dark Souls games. And I know a lot of people would tell me that they're like, yeah, man, if you haven't played them, go back and play them. Maybe one day I will, but like because I was definitely a late bloomer on this, and I'm very excited because when I'm doing this, Armored Core 6 got announced because I played the Armored Core games. I liked Armored Core. Armored Core was the shit. It was hard as fuck, but it was the shit. So like I'm really looking forward to Armored Core 6. So I played FromSoft games, I just never got into the Souls games. Oh, and this is actually kind of funny in this clip because I go over here and try to take on the lobsters, and that was a mistake. I haven't played this game in so long that I'm like, oh, let me go take on the lobsters. Yeah, and they're just over there, that dude's over there in the back just sniping me. Get his aimbot out of here. So I was over here like, oh crap, I'm gonna die in this. I'm actually glad I got this. This is kind of funny. This is what happens when you don't play a Souls game in so long and you come back and you're just like, you're trying to, figure out your muscle memory and stuff. And yeah, you're just getting your ass stomped by all the enemies because, everything's a threat to you. It doesn't matter if you're over leveled or not because even these guys are still pounding me. But, yeah, I talk about the game a little bit. The reason why this game was my number one. It was mainly due because of like the amounts of fun that I had in this game. I had so much fun in this game, and I made so many multiple characters. This isn't like one of those games where it's gonna take like God of War Ragnarok, where it's gonna take you on this like this story, this adventure and stuff. Like it tells its story through the environment and like the equipment you pick up, the weapons and stuff, the bosses that you fight. Everything's told like organically in the game. It's not like one of those games where it's just like there's cutscenes. There are cutscenes, but they're usually just before like boss fights and stuff. You know, anybody who's played like a Souls game, you know exactly how it goes, how the formula goes with the storytelling and stuff. And I know this game, this sold a lot and got a lot of new people into it and stuff. And probably got a lot of new people into the Souls genre and stuff. And for certain, they'll probably play everything from has out. And then, and the game was still difficult, but that was the thing. Like, there was all like this game could be as easy as you wanted it to be on your first playthrough because you don't even have to go fight the very first boss, I guess, quote unquote. I say that like that because you don't even have to go to its castle. You can completely bypass the castle, which is something I ended up doing. You can bypass the castle and basically explore the rest of the world. You'll run into really tough enemies, but you can do it. This guy's over there just whooping my ass. Oh, he almost got me with the down slash. Like even just the regular enemies they're still kicking my ass, even though I'm like what, level 200? No, I'm not even 200. I haven't gotten all the level up yet, but I definitely platinumed this game. I loved it that much, but it was an easy platinum. I think you just played through the game and you almost platinumed the game. But yeah, like just. Oh, and the environments are so beautiful. I know I only really show like Liurnia Lakes right now, but like there's so many good looking environments in this game because FromSoft really knows how to make these worlds look fabulous. Like that's always something. Their art direction is so good. Even though sometimes they're like the gameplay's like jank, but everything else is really good. But the gameplay is always serviceable. There's never really a problem with it. This game's actually really good too. Like it really the combat. That's what I mean. Sorry, the gameplay. The gameplay is really good. The map's huge. Map's freaking huge. There's so many caves that you can explore and stuff, and just but obviously you can tell that I haven't played this in a while because if you look at my build, for anybody who's actually played this game, like you can see I'm still using like a blood build when I think they've nerfed that pretty heavily now. The Yuji Katana and stuff, the blood build. So I don't know. I don't know what like the all around. I think Magic's like OP right now that I'm hearing or something like that. I was like trying to go find a dragon. That's why I came here because I thought that maybe this dragon might have still been alive, but it wasn't. So now I'm just kind of like running around. But yeah, overall, like this game was fantastic. So much time, and I always want to keep playing it. That's the thing. That's why this game is so good to me because I'm always sitting down and I'm always thinking about it. I'm thinking about Elden Ring. Like when I'm playing a game, sometimes I'm like, damn, I want to go back and play some more Elden Ring. Even though like I'm just waiting for like a lot of time to pass. Mostly I'm just doing what everybody else is doing. I think just probably waiting for that DLC, that major expansion to drop. I think that's what everybody's waiting for now is that DLC. Come on, FromSoft, give us that DLC already. You keep keep rumors or something like that, but come on, give us that DLC. You know, everybody's fiending for some Elden Ring DLC because I want to get back into playing this game. Like, because I think about it a lot, and that's always like the mark of a great game to me. Is like when I'm thinking about it when I'm not playing it, and like I always have that urge to want to go in there. And even sometimes I still jump in here. Like I jump in here for like maybe 5 minutes. I run around, look at the world, remember how beautiful and how beautiful it is. Get my ass beat by some regular mobs, but it's been it's been a long time, several months. I think it's like six plus months because this game came out in March, 2022. But yeah, just look at the Erd Tree. I always found myself like, especially this town, this castle, I guess, or town castle you want to call it, is so good looking. Whew, amazing. But I'm like, here, let me go try to fight this guy. I'm probably gonna get my ass beat. Actually, I think I do. But yeah, overall, like, I just nothing but praises for this game. It was like one of those games where like if you went in there for like I'm gonna play for like a couple hours, and then all of a sudden like 6 to 8 hours have passed. That's how much time can just disappear when you're playing this game. It's that good, like you just get lost in doing everything in this game. And yeah, so it's like that's why I say nothing but praise for this game. So yeah, all in all, that's my top 5 games of 2022. And while we're here, I will drop some honorable mentions because I know some people are going to be wondering why no Horizon. Why no Horizon? Okay, I did enjoy that game when I played it. Yes, very much did. Horizon is a great game, and the reason why I didn't make it is because I'm not gonna say it was forgettable because like it was really good when I played it, and I'm pretty sure if I jump back into it, I'll remember like the story bits. But it had that open world tedium that everything did. There was icons everywhere on the map and stuff. So I mainly didn't do a whole lot of side stuff in that game. I basically just stuck to the main story. I did some side missions here and there, but for the most part, I ended up like just going through the main story. And like for me, typically when I play games like that, I like to enjoy the side content when I first get in there. I like to do side quests up until the point where I'm like really strong or I run into that story beat that makes me want to keep continuing to play. But yeah, like overall, like I will give them an honorable mention to Horizon. That was probably like my 6th game, like number 6. And yeah, for like the games that I played. I enjoyed it. I'll definitely go back and play it again, do the new game plus and stuff, because it's a beautiful game. Like, what the story is pretty good, like well acted and all that stuff. It's a beautiful game. It was just not like one of my woo knock your socks off kind of games, because that's kind of that like mostly these top 5 games were like games that gave me a really good impression and ones that I think about even when I'm not playing them. So that's kind of like what my judge of the criteria is how it made me feel after I played it. And I'll give another one to this indie game. It's called Signalis. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of it. Unfortunately, I haven't played it yet, which is kind of sad because I've heard a lot of people heaping praise at that game, and I've seen people play it. I've watched people play it. Amazing looking game. It like has like this 8-bit look to it and stuff, and it's just like this, your typical survivor horror game, and it's really really good. I want to play it, and I think that's going to be a game I'm going to play in 2023 if I ever find the time, because 2023 is packed with games. Woof. it's it's I don't know if I'll find any time to play it because there's so many games that are coming out that I'm actually looking forward to, and I'm thinking I'm going to talk about those games right now because yeah, I just wanted to give those 2 games a shout out and stuff. And I'm pretty sure there might have been more, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, and I apologize for that. Because if one of your favorite games didn't make my list, just definitely leave it in the comment section. Definitely drop that in the comment section. Jesus, find my words. But yeah, so I'm gonna be like, so right now I think I'm gonna talk about, while at the end of this video, I'm gonna talk about like my most anticipated games for 2023. And Dead Space just came out. I haven't played it yet, but I'm definitely going to. Um, it's been out for what, a couple days now, 4 or 5 days now, and everybody's heaping its praise at it. Whew, can't wait. I've been staying away from like it, even though I know it's basically like the same story, but they did change some stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing that. And then right after that is like literally Resident Evil 4 remake. Whoo wee, yay! And it's looking really good. They just Capcom dropped some news on it and stuff, and whoo, it's looking really good. And like survival horror fans, man, we're spoiled this year. I tell you, we've gotten some, we've gotten some. We're getting two really good survival horror games, or two really good remakes, I guess, of survival horror games. And and then obviously, June's, I think it's June or July, Final Fantasy 16. Can't wait for that. That game looks so good. It's like DMC in the Final Fantasy universe, done by Yoshi P, the guy who made Final Fantasy 14 as good as it is now. Whew, can't wait. And then, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm looking forward to that. Fallen Order was really good, so I'm looking forward to playing that too. That comes out. That got bumped back to April. It was supposed to come out in March, but yeah, they bumped it back in April, which is good for them. To EA kind of dropping bangers now, Yeah, the video is almost coming to a close, so I better hurry up. But anyways, yeah, looking forward to that. And then I'm looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth news. Can't wait for that. And I'm pretty sure there's other shit coming out this year that I've been meaning to play. But those are like some of my that's some of my on my list. And I think that Stellar Blade's coming out too. I'm looking forward to that as well. Like those character action games, Stellar Blade, hella anime and stuff. PS5 is getting a lot of games. PS5 is getting a lot of games. And I feel like I had to rush because the video is about to end and I don't have any more clips. But anyways, that's my top 5, and I just wanted to rant a little bit and stuff. And then yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in if you did get to the end of this and just listening to me ramble on about some of my favorite games of the year. And I'm looking forward to what 2023 brings. And yeah, I'm still gonna get that Crisis Core. I'm gonna be doing that. So for anybody waiting for that, I apologize, but I'll get that up there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys in Crisis Core, and let's have another great year of gaming in 2023.